Hello and welcome to Family DynamiKs. My name is Ed.
I'm Katherine.
It's Liz.
And John.
All right, welcome to another episode. We're welcoming you into our world and our life, and we're going to get really far in there this time. It's not not just conversations about stuff, but we had a big birthday party this past week, and that's something that happens annually. You know how those go.
The August birthday party.
That's how we deal with it. We have like four of them that all pile up on that.
Four family members.
And so we recorded a whole bunch of interviews with everybody that came down because there's people that came from like literally all over the country, right?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, yes. Someone
Not
came
just
all the
northern
way
Killmonds.
from coast to coast.
From coast to coast. Yeah.
So we're not necessarily going to dive into those interviews just yet, but we'll just dive into how the party was. It was great seeing everybody. Like I got to see all of the Killmond kids and the Killmond parents at the same time.
Yeah, so it was about, I think it was 25 people, and that's just immediate family. I hosted it this year at my house. In the past, our younger sister, Gigi, Virginia, has done it. I don't delusionally... psychotically thought, I'll give her the year off and I'll do it. I mean, optimistically I host a lot of the big parties too, but I decided, I'd host it. But, the Mary Killmond trait, I piled on.
Oh, yeah.
Everything leading up to it, in fact, was away basically until the night before.
Well, I know when this first was floated that it looked like we could probably get together for August birthdays, which we haven't done.
We did not do it during COVID at all, right?
No, we haven't done it since, pre-COVID, right? I'm pretty sure.
At least 2 summers.
Yeah. So when it was first floated that this was looking like it was going to happen, and James and potentially all of his kids were going to be able to come to the party, Ginny sent a group text.
She loves those group texts.
TBD, we're going to have this party. And I think she was absolutely willing to host it. But it was not determined until much closer who was going to host.
Right. And there's always side conversations. There's the group text that goes around with the general information.
That's the official.
Right.
Yeah.
Like hold the date.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I called her and sort of, had the discussion of whose house it should be at. Because the thing is, Rosemary, or Rosie, she likes to be known as Rosemary, so fine. Rosemary.
No, she doesn't like the Rosie, even though...
I know.
It's a little familial.
Well, we are family, but still we're not allowed to use it.
This is the Family DynamiKs podcast.
So...
it's public.
Yeah. She always tells me, like, nobody calls me Rosie. I'm like, I have literally called you that since, like, I was on this planet before you.
We beg to differ. There's a song... Really, Rosie?
So she wasn't going to be a host of it because it's her birthday. She's one of the August birthdays. And
you can't host if it's your birthday. That's too much of a...
even though we've already gone into this a little bit, last year was a big birthday party just for her. And although she was super
that's
hosting, it was at her place and there was a lot of other hosts that were helping.
That's why it felt like we had an August birthday, but she just had one of those like significant
a milestone birthday
last year. Okay, that is why I felt like we had one.
There was also some kind of something, whether it was just a family dinner or whatever, that felt like it covered
a few more people like you, John.
Oh, kind of around Easter or whatever, that Marie party when Marie's boyfriend was in town. Is that what you're talking about?
No, but sure.
All right.
No, he's still referring to there was something to celebrate the August birthdays.
There's probably a chicken dinner immediately after Rosemary's birthday.
Well, didn't we also do the math at some point that when you go back, like, when would mom have gotten pregnant with these three siblings?
Why would you do this? Why?
It is the holidays, and that is so ludicrous. Think of the chaos that was in our household.
I don't even.
And those two had time to bone.
No. I know. I knew you were gonna.
But that's the thing.
Would you?
They clearly had time to bone. There's 8 of us.
Oh God!
It was always a priority.
At the holidays, I'm so exhausted. It's like, don't touch me. That's my Christmas present. Just kidding. Just kidding. But it is.
There's one more gift to unwrap, and you're not getting it until very much later, sir.
Yes. Happy New Year. Here we go. Because it's just crazy because there are 3 siblings born in August. Like, that is a lot. So, and you have to have a pool because it's so freaking hot. I mean, John's probably like, you don't have to have a pool.
There's a lot of revisionist or just, within the last 6-year history. That's mostly what we're discussing at the moment.
You need a pool. It's the Valley, San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. I mean, during the day this year, it was about 100 degrees. So
yeah, it was hot.
Yeah, you know, ideally it's one of the houses with a pool. So because it's Rosie's birthday, it kind of falls. I mean, you have a pool as well, Katherine.
Yeah,
we sound so she.
I know. Okay. Well, all right.
But you need a pool. A lot of people in Southern California have pools in their backyard because it is hot
Well,
here.
I just want to say, whatever these get-togethers were that were almost the August birthdays or almost the full everybody there, they weren't the full everybody there. This was actually everybody was there,
Right.
which
Yes.
was amazing.
And also not really a lot of like just family friends or, you know, riffraff. No offense, riffraff, but it was just family.
Yeah, there were no even in-laws. Like your in-laws will come into a lot of stuff. Your mother-in-law and Dee Dee are basically like family.
I thought about inviting them, and then I really thought, no, you know, it's so rare that we have just really, I mean, listen, they are really my family, and we really all think of them almost as immediate family. But, you know, I just thought, no, I'm just going to stick to the immediate
tree, the immediate Killmond tree. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So once it was agreed upon, like, I'm going to host the party, I was like, all right, we got the date set. Okay, fine. And then, you know, like I said, I went away Thursday night, came back relatively late Friday. So everything
and this
was
party was Saturday, just in case we didn't say.
I left everything till Saturday.
Oh my.
And it's so hot. And you know, there's always the dream I'm going to come home and Mark has been like, I cleaned up the whole backyard. That did not happen. So I said, we need to wake up pretty early because it's going to be so warm out, and let's knock out the backyard. Just getting it dialed in and just.
So you went away not with him though.
No.
I guess I thought,
no. Okay. No, it was sort of Rosemary's sister-in-law has a house down in the Newport area of Orange County. And it was sort of the
Which
mom.
is a beachy community,
Yeah,
right?
the mom and their sons. So it was Rosemary and her two sons, Jack and Luke, and my girlfriend, Heather McDonald, and her son, Brandon, hung out for the day. Mm-hmm. And then her sister-in-law, Debbie, and her son and his family showed up.
Did Ethan go?
And myself and Ethan.
It would have been so funny if you were like, no.
No.
I left him at home.
And we spent the night down there. So it was super fun. But, you know, I'm not this much of a procrastinator for these type of parties. Holy moly. So day of party now, everybody. Okay, so now I think we're current, right? Day of party.
Yeah.
And what's awesome is we did know everybody was committed to coming, and that includes our niece who lives in New York, our other niece who's a doctor who has a crazy hectic schedule, that she was able to come, our nephews who are everywhere, and
various colleges.
And just it's one of the first times we've all been together.
And my family, who is very antisocial, was all planning on coming.
20-year-olds were at this freaking party. This was a kickin' party. It was like half 20-year-olds.
That's why, and I'll get to this, why I wanted to track down a particular cocktail. I got excited. I was like, it's summer and there's actually of age people.
That would be the pylon.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, the pylon was ridiculous. So it was one of those things where, all right, you know, Virginia, because there's a gluten-free issue, had volunteered to bring a chocolate cake. And you have to have chocolate for Rosemary because otherwise literally dessert does not count.
Rosemary does prefer to go a gluten-free option whenever possible. That's
actually chocolate cake.
I mean,
it's so good. I mean, if it's done right, it's just a very dense, delicious chocolate cake.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't really think it's that you're missing out. But that's all I had covered. Oh, literally.
You're like, at this point, I've got chocolate, gluten-free cake. That is all.
Really, that was
Party.
You know?
That's all you need.
So all I did Friday night when I finally got home from the OC, which took about 2.5 hours.
Yikes.
I got home and it was, you know, and I swear to God, I don't know, my husband's trying to drive me insane. He's hotboxing me right and left with like not turning off the air conditioning and be like, it's nice out.
That's what hotboxing
I know
is.
It's not, but that's
not exactly.
It counts. It's
so
close.
you're saying he's turning off the air conditioner to save money and it's so hot and you're dying.
And then he's like, then he expects my brain to work.
You get a little delirious.
I mean, he's like, let's go over the list. I'm like, why am I so hot? I can't think. He's like, let's do inventory on the drinks. I'm like, even hotter in the garage? I mean, I was like ready to kill him. Because he's like, wait, I thought it got cool out. It's like 91 still. Like, what? There's no breeze. Like, what are you talking about? So Friday night, we took an inventory of like drinks and a tentative shopping list. Really, we should have gone shopping that night.
Yeah,
so the next morning, very ambitiously, we woke up. You know, I'm a Killmond. It wasn't like 6 a.m. It was 8. And we got really going on the backyard a little before 9. So it was not 100 degrees yet. But
But it wasn't cool.
No, and I had my day pajamas on.
Oh,
my house pajamas, and I just put on sunscreen and like some tennis shoes. I looked insane. I mean, I really looked awful. But I was like, why get another outfit dirty, right?
Of course.
And these are like lighter cotton pajamas, so like, who cares? Ethan's like, what is going on when he came outside?
Well, you haven't quite said this yet, but going over the backyard became like with a fine-tooth comb. So with pajamas on makes that, because you thought it was going to be quick. You're just going to blow through it. But what if we don't do that?
But I am a big fan of don't change out of the pajamas if you're not like committed to the day yet. I mean, like I do my treadmill in the pajamas and then I take a shower. I'm not going to like put on other clothes to like do the treadmill.
But Katherine, imagine that you're going to do 3 to 4 hours of yard work. Would you do that in
I would
pajamas?
probably put on clothes.
I usually go to bed in yard work ready clothes. I'm just like, pop out of bed.
Take it on.
Sweep right now.
Well, that's like, I meet Rosemary, our sister, for a walk quite a few mornings a week, and it'll be very early. And I mean, there have been mornings, especially during winter, that she's like, are you in your pajamas? I'm like, well, close. A hot day, no, I cannot go out in my pajamas, but she always looks like straight out of like,
she wears like real workout wear.
Oh, it's like adorable.
A Nike commercial.
A Nike commercial.
Alita, no, what's that athletic wear? There's some like really fancy.
She's like kind of always coordinated, but I had this conversation with my girlfriend Heather Angel. I said, it's because you and her go on like errands afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
I go back in the house and either jump in the pool or change or take a shower. I am not going to Gelson's.
Yeah, no.
It would be alarming in the outfits that I do. I mean,
doesn't Rosie go to
She
classes
gave me a pair
too?
of shorts recently that they are the worst color. I mean, they're not nude, which I'm sorry, full disclaimer. Anybody that wears nude shorts, leggings. Do you understand what that looks like from a distance? So
naked, yeah.
Right, no. But this is like burnt sienna orange colored shorts, and on my super white legs, it is not a good combo. And I rock those like 3 times a week. I've seen people I know said hi on the walk, and I'm really like, wow, I look horrendous. And I don't have the cute workout wear. So, and I'm next to like a Nike ad. So it's like, great. Okay. So anyways, I'm in my pajamas cleaning out the backyard. Like John said, for some reason we got all anal Olay, like turn over everything, clean off all spider webs. If you saw a spider, kill it. Oh my God, there's chip paint on the metal swing.
What?
Let's get out.
Oh no.
Let's get out spray paint and touch paint on it. Let's bang out every pillow. I mean, it was
I don't
insane.
have a lot of backyard pillow experience. What was it what you're banging out?
Like they got dusty.
The dust.
They got
okay,
dust.
just checking
I'm banging
to make
them out.
sure that
I like a decor pillow. Come on, I'm definitely addicted to them. So the backyard got super clean, but that took 3.5 hours.
Yikes!
So now it's 12:30.
I mean, it did get used. People were all over the backyard, sitting on all the various furnitures.
But I am so gross now.
Oh,
I have to shower before I go to Trader Joe's. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, Mark, we need to divide and conquer. And I'm like, I think I know where I can go get a cake that's like ready to go, that'll be delicious and all this and that. So by the time I then showered and left the house.
Oh no.
You guys, I think it was like 1:30.
And wasn't the call
party was starting at 4:30.
4:30. Mm-hmm.
So I gave Mark some tasks to do. John, whose birthday it actually was.
That is not important. Remember, for this party, it is for all of us. So during that, no matter what day it is, that period of time, it's all of our birthdays.
Yes. So it was very nice of you. He volunteered to come over to help. And I said, yes, why don't you come about the hour before?
Got it.
So I decided to go to the cake place first, which I can't have it in my car. It's like 100 degrees out.
Oh, no. That's like a pick it up and get it home immediately.
But I stopped there first to make sure, A, they had it. Mm-hmm. They can write happy August birthdays on it, and I'll be back to pick it up later. Okay,
smart.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Then I go to Trader Joe's. I love Trader Joe's, but they don't have everything you need. And one of the things going back to knowing that all these 21-year-old plus people working with them, I'm like, I want to do the Aperol spritz.
I had never heard of this.
Yeah,
it's some orange fancy drink.
It's very fashionable. It's very, Instagram moment. And I just thought all these young people will appreciate it. Well, of course, Trader Joe's doesn't have it. So.
No, yeah. I mean, they do have a lot of alcohol, but they don't have like everything.
Right.
You created a threefold problem. 1, you had to get the supplies. 2, you had to make a place for this in the party somewhere. 3, you then had to make them during the party.
Yeah, I did witness that.
Terrible.
That was,
This was a poor choice.
So go to Trader Joe's, whip through there as quickly as I can to get what I need. And they're so awesome at Trader Joe's. So it's like, hey, what do you got going on this weekend? What is all this
party
for?
Supplies. Yeah. Love that.
They're very chatty.
Like, what's going on? And I'm like,
they actually are ready to party. Anyone from Trader Joe's could walk straight into any party and be like,
Hawaiian shirt.
Nice Hawaiian shirt. What's up? You doing good? Party.
Yeah. I said, actually, I have a party for 4 family members, today. Today?
Oh, yeah.
I go, yeah.
I would be shocked.
I go 4:30, and this girl goes, whoa.
You better get home, lady.
And I go, and she goes, but you know what? You got it. We believe in you. You're going to pull it off. It's going to be great. And I was like,
yeah, because she was doubting you.
I said, are you being sarcastic? And she's like, no, you got it. You're going to make this happen. And I'm like,
people are going to show up whether you're ready or not.
She goes, you're going to make this happen. I go, yeah, because it's happening whether or not.
It's too late.
Like, it's already at this point, it was like, no joke. It was like 2:45. And I'm like, so then Mark was going to pick up basically the dinner. And I said, well, let me run to Ralph's. I'm out. So now I'm Trader Joe's. I don't have anything frozen. I'll run across the street, get what I need from Ralph's, go back and get the cake, and then get home. John, what time did I get there? Like 3:15?
Yeah, I don't remember. It was, you did get there before me, though, I believe.
No, you were already at my house.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm walking in. This is what you always forget.
With 15 bags.
A, checking out of a grocery store takes longer than you think.
Oh, yeah.
And then B, unloading your car and setting everything up. So I am like, it's a whirling dervish, just trying to get it done and set up. But at the same time, I'm like, it is family, so whatever's going to happen is going to happen. And I have learned, basically, get the appetizers set up. The first thing people are going to see, so get drinks or appetizers. Oh, did I not?
No, look, this was another issue that was created. Now, see, I would blame someone else because we all know that I did not need a meat and cheese board, but I don't know if someone else requested it. But you made the appetizers harder than they needed to be.
First of all, charcuterie is so appreciated by
a lot of people.
A lot of people in our family.
Right. This is okay. Let me go ahead and not say why it's not necessary. Feel free to tell me why.
Oh, well, yes. Okay. But the other, wait, did anybody have the pigs in the blanket that I had on there?
I had one.
Were they okay?
It was fine. I mean, I just half mustard. Was it vegan?
No. I think they've been in my freezer for like 4 years.
And so those nitrates nitrates are good.
I was like, I want to get one. And I don't know if I just got one that was like on the corner. I mean, when I bit into it, it was like, it disintegrated into like hot dog ashes. It was so freaking gross. I was like, I was like, oh my God. But they were all gone. I thought, well, okay.
Somebody ate them.
Hopefully no one gets ill.
I had more than one. It was fine.
See?
Okay, I just got the literally one shitty, it had been reduced to charcoal one. I mean, I bit into it and I was like, oh my God, what just happened? So the rest of the charcuterie platter appetizers was great. So I'm just running around, John's running around, Mark's running around. We're like practically sweating, a nightmare. But we're getting it dialed in. And Ethan, our 14-year-old, and I'm sure those of you that can relate with a teenager, they take management to help you. It's like a lot of direction, and you can't really give them more than one thing to do at once because they'll forget the second one. So he was helpful, but teenagers are a bit of a challenge to motivate.
Not direct. Go ahead.
We were doing the backyard in the morning. So it's like, Mark's like, what the hell? He needs to get up and help us. This is a charmed childhood he's having. I'm like, I agree. Get him up. But Ethan's got to eat and, he's got to have something in his system to function. So we get him up, he has breakfast, he gets dressed, brush. Like that took 45 minminutes. So this kid was not out to help us till like 10:30 or 11. And at one point we're having him do something. I look over and it's like, he's so tall and lean. He's had such a growth spurt. He's been out in the sun at this point for like a half an hour. He's like shaking.
Oh no.
He's like going to pass out from like sunstroke or something. I go, are you okay? He's like, I don't know.
I've been keeping myself upright. It's so challenging. I'm so much taller now.
Like, because I think because we got him up before he naturally was ready or something, he's like, I don't know. I don't feel right. I'm like, oh my gosh, go inside and get water. I'm like, go inside and get water, get a baseball cap, sit down for 5 minutes, and then come back out. He's like, okay. I mean, it was like, because he does lean toward the dramage. So there is an element that I'm like, how legitimate is this? But I don't need him having sunstroke on me. So I'm like, go inside and have water. You're so helpful. So
I was going to say earlier, it just reminds me, and also I'm slightly disconnected from, how is it that I did yard work on my own, self-motivated, got out there and did it every week in the sun? That makes no sense.
No.
And never passed out? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure there were days where I should have passed out.
Probably.
Oh, yeah. No, I had a Walkman. That's how. Escapism. I forget what that's like. But when you put a Walkman on, manual labor, irrelevant.
Music
cool
does help.
Cool tunes, man. Cool tunes.
Music does help. Yeah, I think we had music going too. So then, and I think I sent a text at some point.
I was just going to say, the 4:30 call time, I think at like 4:15, it was like, no rush. I was like, I mean, we weren't like anywhere out the door. We were planning on like heading out at 5 anyway.
That was really only directed at one family member, Virginia, because she will roll in at 4:32.
Well,
which is fine.
Takes it seriously when
and
you give her a call
kids can
time.
go in the pool. It's fine, but I just was like, no rush.
We're not ready. That was the vibe.
I could have said
of that.
Text. The charcuterie is not going to be out yet. So I go back now. It's like everything's kind of rolling. It looks like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It's going to happen. You put up birthday signs everywhere. It looks festive. Drinks are chilled. Like it's happening. Somehow or another, we're pulling this out.
Do we need to go on record about the birthday signs?
What?
I think that Mark and I placed them all incorrectly, didn't we?
So I have all these like happy birthday banner signs.
Yeah, sure.
And really, it was getting down the wire. I was like, Mark, just put them up. And definitely I walked in like, oh, but I had...
When I said put them up, I meant do a better job than that.
To some degree, but I let it all slide. That was like, that's just going to be what it's going to be at this point.
Sometimes you cannot be too persnickety if you don't have time to do it yourself.
No.
You just accept however it gets done.
I've gotten a little better with age on that. I'm not going to say vastly improved, but like when there's no time to correct it, I just let it go. Okay, fine. So I go back to get ready. There's a couple last minute things we're all doing. And I hear mom was one of the first people to arrive, right?
Yeah. Mom and Ed arrived very early. And then, yes, when she came in, she was like, I need to talk to Liz. And we're like, well, she's like, I'm going back there.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. There's in the same way that the pylon turns into like, oh, now I'm falling behind. I'm behind. Hey, everyone, slow down. I'm a little behind. Mary Killmond had no pylon. She was like primed and ready to go. There were people at the house who were sitting and watched her walk past them like, oh, you're ready to go. I was at the bottom of the stairs. She's like, let's go. I'm like, the door's open. We're going now.
It's pretty impressive knowing that mom typically...
That's not her MO.
That's not her MO, yeah. So she came back to me and basically said, that in the midst of the party, she'd like to hold a family meeting with the adults. I was like, what?
Oh, is that when that came up? Oh, okay.
I was like, yeah, sure, okay. She's like, when the kids are in the pool, maybe some of the older, young adults can watch them. I'd like to pull all the adults aside. I go, well, is it bad news? And she's like, no, but it's shocking news. I'm like, I'm literally trying to get right. I am like still boiling hot. Like I have not simmered down from running all over the valley and like trying to pull this party together in a matter of like 3 hours. So
you're like, okay, great.
Fine.
Get out of my room so I can finish dressing.
Fine. So then, the party starts and I had a lot of immediate Aperol Spritz takers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you had to make them. That was what I came in on. You were actively making these Aperol Spritzes.
Yes.
Did you have takers or you had made sales? Because
made sales, yes. I pitched the product and they bought it, John. There you go.
You signed yourself up for the work. Good
I don't know why. I just like summary and I was like, let's do it. Because I also wasn't making the main course of the dinner and a lot of the food. Like once the party started, the food was already kind of prepped and done. I mean, there really wasn't anything left.
It wasn't like a Thanksgiving with a whole bunch of actual prep.
And a bunch of stuff you still have to do.
Yeah.
No, and I mean, but actually, Mark decided he wanted corn on the cob, but not on the cob. So he wanted to take it all off the cob, roast it. That was the most involved thing that basically was left to do. Roast it. That's it. Because he then left to go pick up the fried chicken that we had ordered. And we did not do the math right, which I'll get to that. Man, we're all adults. Everybody eats now.
Yeah, there's
crap.
Mostly all grown-ups, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, this was one of the rare times when there was no leftovers. There's been some incidents.
An abundance.
Yes.
This was a scarcity, which is a very untypical for my household.
Also, that there were no bones taken away from this party, which is ridiculous.
There's no bones about it, Ed. Okay.
The grandmary didn't collect the bones.
Oh,
she had something else going on in her head.
I hadn't thought about that.
Not to jump ahead, but we had the first Sunday of the month chicken dinner the next day.
The next day, yeah.
Yeah, I bowed out of that one. And there was a reason why I could barely effing move. So I was just running around the whole party making my Aperol spritzers and other things, right, John? So, all right, are there any clips we'd like to play? Because now the party's kind of started.
Well, that was the cute thing. So we got this idea, sort of like spur of the moment. We're like, Ed and I kind of thought of this, sort of the more technical aspects of it, a couple days before, and then
it was about a week before.
Yeah, and then didn't actually do anything about it. So on the morning of,
couldn't figure out the Amazon thing that I wanted to spend $20 on, so I didn't.
And then
I had to go to Walmart.
Yeah, and then the morning of, I text Ed and I'm like, "Did you ever get anything?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Okay, I'm running errands, so I was thinking of going to Best Buy." He's like, "Oh, so was I." We ended up running into each other at Best Buy, and then like looking at what they had and figuring it out and whatever. And so the idea was we would be able to record some audio at this party, because people who haven't been in to do the podcast yet, just, I don't know, let people listening to this be a fly on the wall of the party.
Well, I mean, listeners, you've heard how busy this weekend already was. The real plan was to have them come in to the studio and record this.
We were like, what if we could get
just bring the recording to the party?
Yeah.
Yep, very true.
So the alternate was just bring some recording equipment there and see what we get. So
I know I saw you going around the party like having interviews and talking to people. These clips will be surprises to me. I have not heard them.
Yeah, look, so the only thing I have to say going into this is they're not perfect.
Well, it's a party. There's background noise.
Absolutely. And also, this was the first time we cracked out this equipment because we bought it approximately 2 hours before.
Pretty much.
Whatever. And luckily, we're not watching any video because I was trying to get audio, so I was not paying attention to what it looked like. And yeah, some of it was just like, here's a close-up of Mom's nose. Okay.
It's not a lot of up nose shots. It's mostly chins.
Oh, okay. So, Anyway, so the very first clip is Mom. So we can play that. So we've gotten together for August birthdays. So there's 4 August birthdays. What are the August birthdays, Mom?
Teresa, John, this is by age, and then Rosemary, and James, who's 57. Can I believe that? No. And so that's it. 4 in the family. I can't even count. I got too many.
What was your favorite part about tonight, Mom?
Oh, I will go home and I'll have all these pictures in my mind, like when they were all sitting together by the pool. And at one point, Michelle was taking a picture of all her kids together because they're not together anymore. One lives in New York and not everybody's together anymore. So just to see each group enjoying being together themselves, that was really good.
Yeah, that's James's 5 kids being all together.
Yeah. So this is really a lot of fun. We get together as a family and we just have a good time. And I was sitting in the Enterprise rental agency yesterday, and I was telling this lady about, I was kind of excited because my whole family was coming into town. She said, I hate to ask this, but are they drunken assholes like so many families? I said, no, we just have a great time. So it's true. We are. We're just having a great time. So I don't have anything more to say about it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
How cute is that? I mean, like, what?
A bunch of drunken assholes.
I was like, okay.
Well,
sure.
Actually, one of my friends kind of asked a similar question in the sense of like, because you hear big family get-togethers like this and you're like, okay, is it going to go off the rails, or like, do people fight?
Oh, no, those two can't be in the same room together.
And I said, no, there's not any. Although, I was pitching the Aperol spritz everywhere, and we do offer alcohol.
Yes, you were selling the spritz far and wide, for sure.
Yes. So, but for the most part, that's not the vibe of what's happening. It's getting together, and I love that Mom's at an Enterprise car rental telling these people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that was...
I think we need to go do another interview, and like the 4 of us go to Enterprise. Hey, what's going on?
We're that family.
Well, I tried to keep it in order, so the next person I talked to was James. I think this is a little more substantial. So.
Who happens to be one of the honorees of the party.
Well, I think I asked him that or talk about that. But let's listen. We have James, another one of our August birthdays. Happy birthday, James.
Thank you.
How was getting here? How was the drive?
Yeah, no, everything was fine.
I really like your very tiny birthday hat. Where did that come from?
There are lots of birthday hats. You could wear one too.
I don't know if I want to participate. I kind of want a picture of it, though.
Wow.
Because it's very awesome. All right, so what was your favorite part about your August birthday evening?
Just seeing everybody. I guess it's the first time everybody's been together in a long time.
That is true. And all 5 of your kids are here, which is, they're not usually in the same spot, huh?
No, that is also the case. I guess it's been, everyone was together at Christmas, so, but still, Christmas was a while ago, so.
Yes, it was.
In fact, Christmas is closer now than it is from when it was.
Oh, yeah, we're on the other side of closer to the next Christmas than last Christmas.
Well, today felt a lot like Christmas, 104, so.
Okay, so James, where are you and Michelle staying?
At the Hilton Garden Inn, but I don't know if they have my Hilton Honors number, so I'm a little bit troubled by that.
But you are getting free breakfast. You're getting free breakfast because they were supposed to give you 2 queens, and they gave you a king. And when you tried to get an extra room, they were like, no, just free breakfast.
Well, I hadn't known that, so I guess that's a consolation.
Gotcha. Okay, so you were a little bit late to the festivities. Did you feel like you missed or that you got here in just the nick of time?
Well, when I got here, the weather was, it had cooled off a little bit, so it was beautiful when I got here. I missed out somewhat.
There are now a bunch of presents on the table. Are you excited about maybe getting some exciting presents?
I made out pretty well earlier in the week. Yeah, so I got 3 excellent books, all of which I look forward to reading, unlike, books that you don't really look forward to reading, that you get as a gift. And I got a Dodgers t-shirt, which was excellent, which is very appropriate in commemoration of Vince Scully's passing. And I also got another excellent present. What was it?
Trying to remember.
Oh, how could I forget? Yeah, it is tickets to a concert, Pet Shop Boys, and New Order. So that's, it would have been a lot more awesome in the 80s, but,
And
still pretty good.
One gets, so who's the best child or best person?
Well, I think Uncle John, as my oldest son, is probably the only one who's also interested in Pet Shop Boys, so he's the front runner.
Okay, so there was a little cameo.
A lot to unpack there.
I know. There was a cameo with Teresa,
well,
which
that
I
is
love.
so on brand from her when she was younger, how she would want to sit next to James and chime in, and it would drive him insane.
Oh, I don't remember
But now
that.
they've aged up and matured, and obviously he can handle it. But that she knew the Hilton breakdown
was hilarious.
that
Yeah.
he's going to get a free breakfast because they didn't give him the right bed count. That she came out of left field with that. Wow.
Yeah. Oh, God. Okay, so...
Well, I don't want to know what John Paul's sleeping situation was in the aftermath of one bed.
And wait, who gave him the New Order Pet Shop Boy tickets?
I don't know. He did talk to me about possibly going, which I did not jump on.
You should go. I think that's awesome.
Did he say you were his youngest son?
His
or his
oldest.
oldest son?
Yes, which is not a phrase he usually uses. But, he did put a lot of time in on the phone from various other parts of the country.
That is very true.
That's
And
very sweet.
Yep. Having a fatherly role as the oldest brother.
And, he is my godfather.
Oh.
And I also gave him, I forget exactly what it was, but there was some kind of, multi-CD, whatever kind of set of Pet Shop Boys. So, it's one of those things you don't realize, he's older than me by enough that I don't truly, always can predict what his preferences are. So then finding out that was one of his favorite bands was such a this is crazy. And then I was like, oh, wait, I can give you this. Sounds good.
Perfect.
So then I get to make a joke about it a lot, including the songs like Shopping, because that's a whole song. Perfect.
I do have to say I am impressed that you asked him about being late, because one of the other agendas that when I realized that every family member was going to be here, we don't have a picture of all the family members
together.
I mean, I think
we've had a couple over the years, and the outdoor camping ones are like, everybody's outdoor camping. We ain't looking hot.
Well, but also almost never is everyone there.
Yeah. So I was said at one point, I arranged with you, Ed, like have the camera stand or I'll have one of the neighborhood boys come over, but we are going to get a big group photo. Well, it stays...
We were losing the light.
Yeah, it stays light to a certain hour, but it was getting down there, and it was like, where is James? I mean, it was like 7-ish. And then also Kirk, our brother-in-law, was starting to get very hungry. So he was like, we just need to have dinner. I don't know where James is, but we need to move on. And Michelle, James's wife, said, Dad, don't wait for James. Just like, we can start dinner. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, it's not so much about the dinner. I'm thinking like, I want to take this photo. We're going to start dinner. Everybody's going to have to get up from their plate to come take the photo, whatever. Okay. But that's basically what happened. So I was impressed that you asked him, because sometimes he's going to be prickly about that. Like, calling him out.
It turned out
he was on camera. He could be prickly.
No, he was in a great mood. It was lovely.
Yeah,
it was
totally,
very cute,
and he handled it very nicely. And we got the group family photo, which we will post. Well, we're not going to post it.
I don't know. You're looking at me. Did I blink? What's
yeah, you were kind of like shocked when I said I'm going to post it.
No, you did blink, but we took a couple, and so I'll
we'll
cut
find
that
one.
out.
Yep, there you go.
And I'll remove the telephone wires and the trees in the background. It'll be great.
Oh my gosh, you make it sound like I live like the telephone trees in the background. It's like, oh my god.
No, it's the power. It's the power lines between your houses that is like, oh right. Well, let's make the sky look pretty in the background.
Thank
This
you.
is the permanent
Can we
picture.
maintain the mystery, Ed? Jeez.
What has not been mentioned is one of the previous family photos that was everybody before certain people were born was taken at Liz's at a party. Unfortunately, though, on a badly formatted camera, or the settings were incorrect.
Yeah, it was set to like the maximum number of photos, which is the lowest quality of photos. So like Liz had a very great digital elf camera, and we got everybody together. Was it the jeans one?
No, but my only point is that in that photo, there would not have been the opportunity to fix things. But now on this photo, we can fix things.
Magic.
You're wrong. I did have to fix Adam. He was out of control, and I had to put him in from a different picture.
Oh.
But it was super easy because the resolution was so low, you couldn't even tell I photoshopped it. It was like, where's that cut? It ain't there. It ain't there. Don't worry about it.
Perfect. Okay, what's the next clip?
All I was going to say is we found out later that James was swamped with work. And so he was, we actually luckily reached out and said, hey, we're trying to take this picture. And then he was like, oh, and then he came as soon as he could after that. So
we do need light.
We did get it just in the nick of time. Okay, so the next one I think should be Rosemary. So you're one of the August birthdays, Rosemary.
Yes.
Are you excited? Happy birthday.
Thank you. I was just looking at my little brother John, and I was thinking, like, one of my most favorite memories of around my birthday is the day he was born, because I was old enough to remember it. I think I was 13, and Mom came home with James from like a shopping trip to some baby store, and she was in labor, and it was like, oh my God, it was so exciting. And then, 3 days later, it was my birthday, and it totally got shined over, but it was fine. It was fine. I was fine with it because I was so excited about having a little brother. He was so great.
How sweet is that? Oh my gosh. But at the same time, it got shined on. I'm like, I knew. Because from our childhood, Rosemary's always felt very jilted with her birthday.
Yeah, she doesn't actually love being part of the cluster of birthdays, but
there's that element.
You got to make a point to take care of her on her birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
But also, whoops. I'll bring up something regarding that as well. But also, when you're grade school age, when your birthday is in summer, you don't get any of the fun school cupcakes or people are away on vacation.
Yeah, you totally do. As a group, when you come back to school, no big deal.
I don't know that Mom ever did that for her, so she felt looked over.
Right. Look, I don't know what happened. I wasn't in her class, but my only point was my experience. I did not bring anything to any of those summer, birthday party celebrations at school. So I doubt that Mom did for Rosie either. But they happened, so...
Yeah. No, it did not happen for Rosemary.
Or she should have been satisfied with it, but wasn't.
Yes, but you have to, Rosie's one of those people, just rightfully so, her birthday's important to her, so she likes to celebrate and she likes to be acknowledged. And we do these group family texts that usually, like we always say, let the avalanche begin, where you start like, happy birthday, John. And then everybody chimes in, and mom is all of her emojis and her little like GIFs or GIFs, as they're called. And
she'll fully have a conversation with someone in that group text. Oh, when
about
is that
something
happening?
else.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But guess what? Mom forgot to call or text Rosie on her birthday yesterday.
Oh, no. Uh-oh.
And the bummer is, there have been times in the past where a group text has gone on and I've noticed mom has not chimed in, and I have nudged her off to the side.
Smart.
Well, I guess Kirk, our brother-in-law, did that, and then she still
didn't do it. Oh, shit.
So Rosemary, of course, today was like, oh my gosh. And as we're talking about it, mom texted her. So, there's a lot of people that mom has to remember, but still.
I'll say this. So just very recently, I was helping mom text something, and we went back to my text thread with her, and there was a text just waiting for the send.
Oops.
Oh.
Whoopsie.
And I will just go back to John, you being born. You were the 6th, and Rosie was the 9th. So I do remember you coming home, and we were of the frugal nature that the air conditioning was not just running nonstop.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And I just remember being like, this house was so hot the day you came home. They're like, mom came home from the hospital, and it's like she got a brand new baby, and it was just like so hot. And we're like, all the little kids wanted to be in the bedroom looking at you.
It's probably perfect for me. Back in the womb.
Oh, God. For you, I think it knocked you out. I mean, you were so
You're like,
tired.
oh, this is great. 98. This is perfect. This is how I want to be.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up, I was in the kitchen, and there was a cluster of Killmond girls. So I talked to them, and I think, Liz, you make an appearance in this.
So is this the oldest Marie, Katherine, and Teresa?
Yeah, I have them introduce themselves.
Okay, great.
So listen. Okay, so we're now in the kitchen, and we're going to record some audio with
Rosemary,
Marie, Teresa, Katherine,
and me, other Katherine. Oh, I didn't even realize that was going to happen. And Liz, who just came in with a beautiful cake. Tell us about the cake, Liz.
I made it from scratch. No, I didn't. It's a fresh berry cake from Sweet Lady Jane's, and it says, Happy August birthday! It's for everybody.
Nice. Okay, so
beautiful. It's a beautiful cake, really.
we also have a gluten-free cake for the people who need the gluten-free option. All right, so I'm going over to the Killmond girls. Killmond girls, how is it to be all together?
It's a lovely treat. Rarely happens.
Especially since it's in honor of my birthday. That's really good.
Truly fantastic.
Now, Marie, you first flew in from New York, and then you drove down with, who'd you drive down with?
Teresa and John Paul.
And how was that?
It was good. We had a 7-hour playlist that we all contributed to. John Paul added some heavy metal that was kind of a vibe killer.
Not heavy metal. It was like rock.
Okay.
Country, not heavy metal. I don't think you know what heavy metal is.
Ooh, wow, that's a burn. That's a diss. Katherine, you were working until like an hour before, right?
I was working until 10 a.m. and I took a brief nap and then I drove over.
And how long was that shift that you had just come off of?
26 hours.
That is ridiculous, but we're very, very glad you're here. How was your nap?
It was life-changing.
Happy August birthdays, in particular to Teresa.
Thank you.
Teresa.
That's Morgan. One more time.
Happy birthday, Teresa.
How
Cool, we
cute
even
are
got
they?
Morgan on there?
I
I love
know. I forgot that you were in there with the cake.
I didn't
made
remember
this
doing
from
that
scratch.
either. It was like such a professional cake. You're not going to fool anybody. No, but it's beautiful. Yeah, I don't think I knew that Katherine had just come off a 26-hour shift. She's doing her residency right now.
Yeah.
That's intense.
It was crazy. I don't want to talk about it too much because it upsets me that is still how they do it. But that's how they do it. It's like, what the hell?
Well, she did talk about it some. So I heard part of the conversation, and it's less of like 28 hours straight unless there's an actual emergency and you're dealing with something, at which point you're on adrenaline. But the expectation is that you sleep if it's not busy. go find someplace to put your eyes closed for that 28-hour shift. You're on call, you're in the hospital, but you're not like, I don't think she's performing children's surgeries for 28 hours straight.
Or very Grey's Anatomy, and you've fallen in love with a co-doctor and you're making love somewhere.
And or there's a possible ex-husband love ghost hiding somewhere in your...
Boom. Very possible.
Exactly. So she's got...
who's like a real charmer chime in her is Teresa.
Oh my God, she's so great. Well, we see Teresa a lot.
The diss on like you wouldn't even know what heavy metal is.
It's great.
Wow.
Yeah, Teresa,
the little sister is snippy.
We love her. She's very close. Well, not actually that close in age to Sarah, but they were enough close that they are very good friends. And she comes and hangs out, and usually will make a point of coming and staying at our house if she's in town. And
that's great.
I definitely
she is
feel
hilarious.
Like their age range felt like it was a little further apart earlier in their lives when they were younger, just because a 15-year-old and a 20-year-old are like, oh, that's a gap.
Yeah, it's
and
not
I'm not
quite,
even sure it's that much.
3 years. I think it's 3 years.
But now, as Sarah's getting into her adulthood, they are paralleling, and they're just two women now.
Yeah, they're very cute together. But hearing the three girls together, their whole vibe is very funny to me. I love that. Anyway, we have a very quick little thing from Kirk,
our brother-in-law.
Party pooper, party pooper. That's how it goes.
That was Kirk. Wonderful. Thank you.
Oh my God.
He was actually, I think he was singing that to James, which was funny. And James was like,
well, I had one of those moments. James had arrived, dinner was flowing, and Rosie goes like, what the hell, man? Why were you 2 hours late? And I was like, oh my God.
Uh-oh.
Because, I was like, what are you doing? What if you like piss him off or upset him? You just turn around and walk right out.
Well, and that road goes both ways because you're worried about the person's reaction, but it's the person who is confronting to start with.
Yeah. No, I was like, Rosie, what are you doing? But once again, I give James credit. He was like, oh man, I'm sorry, got bogged down by, like, they handled it fabulously together. So I just, I'm in the eye of the hurricane the whole party, being in the kitchen, so I hear and see a lot.
Yeah.
The eye of the hurricane. I don't think
Hurricane Elizabeth.
It's not that the kitchen is the eye of the hurricane, which it was, and I have learned as I have become, lowly assistant at these parties, that the kitchen is not the place to hang out if you're not helping. If it's busy, get out.
Yeah.
On the other hand, is it just you that's the eye of the hurricane?
Oh, I'm the eye of the, yes, for sure. And that's why I had you move the charcuterie platter into the main room. I'm like, get it out of here. There's too many people in here hovering over it because it's so popular, John.
I think you have your idea slightly off. You're more like in the eye of Sauron, where that's the most problems happening in the entire planet, versus the eye of the storm is the calmest part of the storm, where nothing's happening.
Isn't the eye of Sauron like also the most powerful? So that does
that's
fit.
what I'm saying.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
All-seeing.
You're way more like the all-seeing. I'm in control of everything. What's happening?
Well, but what you're forgetting is, because there's also she is in the moment as well. So even though she's worrying about all these party things and, doing a bunch of things with her hands, she's also paying attention to other people. Like she's coming and talking in this clip about the cake. So there is a little bit of the eye of the storm calmness as well.
It's a lot.
Okay, so there's more shenanigans going on in the kitchen, and this is definitely Rosie and Kirk, and I think there might be some other people involved in this. I don't remember.
I was out of town for the last week, and he had to call me on how to start the dishwasher. And I had to walk him through it. And then he stained the couch with coffee, and then I had to walk him through starting the washing machine.
Irritating. I was so tired. I sat down, I had my coffee on my little table. I was going to have my TV on. I was all ready to go, and my phone was right over here. And I pulled on my phone and realized my cable was wrapped around the coffee. And I pulled it to me, and the coffee, it was in a lid thing, but it was like glug, 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 glug. I just ruined my life for like an hour and a half.
And he knew I was going to be pissed.
I had to get on the phone. Okay. Coffee with cream in 3 different spots. What do I do? Go.
I was like, I want to hang up on you right now. I'm sitting outside with a cocktail, and you just ruined the entire vibe.
Then I took him over to the washer and dryer, and I said, okay, I'm here. Which one's the washer?
If only you had an Apple phone, then we could have FaceTime. He's like, which button? I'm like, I don't know.
It's a complicated thing. It was one of those
I know, but like, I don't have, like, I just do it. Like, I'm not like, The button with the square and the diamond. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, I love which one's the washer. He doesn't even know.
How do I
which
launch
one's
this
which.
spaceship?
Well, yeah, because washer and dryers are spaceships, and now they look exactly the same.
Yeah,
That's true. And the takeaway or the thing to highlight in there, because Kirk kind of has some similar traits to our father. She was outside having a cocktail somewhere, which means like 5 o'clock. And he is sitting down to a cup of coffee. That dude can drink coffee anytime, day or night.
Well, which she probably would not have been into at that time of night. But it was funny. I actually house sat for them when Kirk did join them, wherever she was. And I was wondering, I was like, why are the covers off this one section of the couch? I assumed that there was a spell, and it was full rosy fashion. It had been washed. It was being, on a drying rack. But I was like, I don't know what happened here.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so then this is more kitchen shenanigans. Rosemary ends up telling a story about Liz and Mark visiting her in San Francisco. And oh wait, you know what? I think there's a little bit with the Fog Boys right before that. So let's play the Fog Boys in the kitchen, and then we'll play this other one.
Fog Boys together. Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Are you enjoying the August birthday party?
Yes. It's a blast.
Okay, so we've got Jack and Luke. So Jack, say hi.
Hello. Hi.
What's Luke? There's a lot of talking heads, music in the background, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
And now Liz is dancing in the kitchen.
I think you need to go get it.
So then I follow into the kitchen, and then we get this bit.
Do you know this is nothing new? Do you know what hell it was for me? Do you know what hell it was for me? I'm single, living in San Francisco, and these two clowns come up, and I gave them an allotted amount of time. I said, you can sleep, they're staying in my apartment.
Futon.
And I'm going to sleep on the futon. I gave you my bed. And I go, I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to, wash my hair. You guys got time. And then I was going to come out of the bathroom. They're like, not yet!
Mark doesn't deal well with pressure, time constraints.
I'm an artist. It takes time.
It takes time. I was like, you assholes, wrap it up. I'm like, come on.
Not yet.
Jeez, what is she alluding to?
So, yeah, you were dancing, and I think you were
alluding to nothing.
Starting to kiss or something.
She explained exactly what she saw. You assholes, wrap it up.
This is really, okay, so that's one of my favorite songs by the Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime. And the two Fogs Boys were on the couch, and Mark and I started dancing. I think you just interviewed them. And to embarrass them, I leaned over and was kissing Mark. This tells you how much teenagers give a crap about what's going on with adults. They were down their phone. They never even looked up. They could not have cared less. Whereas Rosemary was in another room, saw this happening, and was like, "Look at this," and had to come in and give us
and talk about my experiences of you being sexy in front of me.
Yeah, and I don't know if those boys ever looked up, ever looked up, even realized the story that was being told.
Oh, hilarious.
Nothing. It's oh my gosh. And I think this is also now the point where it's we're doing dishes. It's it's kind of just a free for all, one room, presents are being wrapped, cake is being passed out. It's just a total kind of pandemonium.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the next clip is the happy birthday song.
Nice.
Okay, we're going to go sing happy birthday.
There you go. It's so exciting.
Where is
Liz, what is that white one? Each of you have a candle on each cake. Oh, really? This is very resistant. They're we're going to go down. Stop. Okay, here we go.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you.
Go. You
Good job. Wow.
Okay, the beginning of that with Kirk, our brother-in-law, trying to orchestrate our beginning.
I love it because he seems so impatient. He's like, no. No.
Well, because he,
so
I think he sang in a barbershop quartet.
What? Really?
I swear to God, we have to check with him. But he also has, a musical theater background, and so do I. So there's an element that's like, you're not going to harmonize 25 people, but I guess you could have, a real definitive start. Now, we should have done the names in age order.
We should have said beforehand, do the names like that. Otherwise, what you get is like a big jumble.
And
mess.
I tried to, I was initially putting my hand above James, but nobody was listening. So then it just was a big jumbled mess. But yes, we sounded not half bad, actually.
Yeah, well. All right. So then the last person that I talked to was James's wife, Michelle, our sister-in-law. Just knowing that we still like to get her officially in on the podcast. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to take this opportunity and get some chat time with Michelle. So that's what's up next. And that's our last one, I think.
Now, the party is still going on, even though we've already had cake, and I'm sitting here with Michelle Killmond. How are you, Michelle?
Doing great. So glad to be here.
It's really nice to see you. I mean, we don't normally get to see you, so, in the last couple years anyway.
No, this is only the second time we've been here in almost 3 years. Yeah. So, it's been such a crazy time, but I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah. How was the drive down?
It was great. We listened to an audiobook, which is one of James's favorite things to do. And, and just chatted. It was very quiet and calm. Nice.
So all of your kids are here. How is that?
So great. We don't see all of them together very often. In fact, I think it was probably Christmas the last time we saw them all together. So
you did nothing.
Really nice. Yeah, and I love seeing all the cousins together. That is so nice.
At some point, all 5 of your kids were sitting out by the pool, and it was possibly the cutest thing ever. They are very sweet together. Was it always like that, or is this more of like an as they've gotten older?
I think it definitely has gotten better, or they've gotten a lot closer as they get older, but they've always really been pretty good, been pretty close, I think. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to take this opportunity to have you talk a little bit about your family, because I don't know when we'll get you on the official podcast. So how many siblings and how many kids do they have, and where is everybody? I mean, you could give us the whole spiel.
Long time. So I am number 12 of 13 kids. So I have 7 sisters and 5 brothers. And they are mostly, I grew up on the East Coast, so I grew up in Baltimore. And most of them are on the East Coast or pretty close to the East Coast. But I have a sister who lives in the Dallas area and a brother who's in Ohio. But most of the other ones are on the East Coast. And we unfortunately see each other for weddings mostly. That's when we all get together because both of my parents have passed away. And so it gets a little trickier at that point if you're not all in the same area. But when I met James and all of you guys, I just felt like this is so familiar. This is exactly like my family.
You recognized it right away.
Absolutely. One of my favorite memories is, I think it was the first time, it was before we were married. I came out here for a visit, and we drove to Lake Gregory, and your dad was driving. It was the van, and it was it was to me a twisty road, and I wasn't feeling so great. And your mom pulled out tuna fish sandwiches to eat in the car, and I was like, yes, this is my life. This has been my experience.
Now, you're number 12 of 13, so obviously your experience is more of the younger child, and James is the oldest. Was that a little different?
I think so. Although I think a lot of times the older ones are less excited about having a big family, but that is definitely not James. He was very excited to have a big family. But for me, I just having more people around, having lots of kids was great because that was a very positive memory for me of just having all the siblings. And when they came home from college or when they came home to visit, it was just super fun.
That's so interesting because, I feel like the younger ones who always had a bunch of people around, like John, my mom used to say that he would get very sad when we all went to school.
Absolutely. I remember that. I would be so excited when people would come home, and it would usually mean I'd have to sleep on the floor in someone's room because there just wasn't enough room for everybody. But I loved it. It was just such an adventure, and then everybody left, and it was like, oh my goodness, this is so sad. Like, we're back to normal, and it's just me and mom and dad and my younger brother,
So your 5 kids are here with all of their Killmond side cousins. How many cousins do they have from your side of the family?
There are 26. Yeah.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Now, are they anywhere that you can see them, or are they?
So actually, one of my nephews, so my sister Chris's son Kyle, is doing a fellowship in San Francisco. So he and his wife are living there. So we've seen them just a couple of times because he's extremely busy. He's always working, but anyway. But the others, again, it's mostly weddings. Like, that's when we see them. So I wish that they lived closer or that we could see them more often. But it's always fun. Like, you see them, and then it's like you feel like you have spent every day with them because you just have this common experience, and so it's easy to catch back up.
Almost like no time has passed, only a lot of time has passed, but you catch up quick.
Yeah, which is what I feel like I'm seeing today with the cousins is like, there's always this, like at the beginning, there's this feeling of like, oh, feel a little awkward, or the kid. I sense it with some of them, and then in like a matter of minutes, it's like, oh, we're chummy again. It's nice.
It's nice. I mean, that is what family is, which is nice. Okay, well, we still want to get you on the podcast for realsies and get probably the same but with better audio.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you, Michelle.
Sure.
Oh my gosh, the peacock sound in the background.
Well, I think it was like post cake. Everyone's doing like weird.
Lauren and Morgan were on a sugar high.
Yeah.
And I had
sound
those
makers. What are they called? Like,
little like paper old school horns where like it unfurls.
Yeah,
like,
that's what it was.
So
for sure.
She at one point I come over and she just has 2 in her mouth and she's just blowing them like out of control.
It was a little crazy.
So I mean,
you couldn't exactly tell, but at some point she did that to me, and I'm a great uncle. I didn't need one. I just immediately came back with the sound right back at her face. I'm like, oh, she's like, this is awesome. More?
Our 2 youngest. That was, I love that.
I know. Yeah, it was so lovely to talk to her, and just, I feel like, how do I not know all this? But sometimes you don't know all this.
Because sometimes when we get together, it's like you're catching up on much more current events, or just, I asked her, oh, when are you going back to school? What's going on with JP? The last kid at home. It's much more of the moment current information.
Yeah.
Versus, I mean, I'd love to have her in to kind of know more about her family and her own upbringing, because
absolutely,
we'll get into that on a podcast with her, but their wedding and us all going back to their wedding, but it was quite a California going back east adventure.
Oh yeah. Now, I don't know where that was.
I was an altar boy at their wedding.
I think you were, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, I don't know where that was in the scheme of things where we did the piñata, but we also did a piñata at this party.
Now, why was that piñata at the party?
Why are you looking at me? I don't know.
Virginia brought it for you.
Oh, was it specifically for John? That's hilarious.
Well, it was for the August birthdays and for the activities, but John, in his youth, his childhood, liked a piñata.
I don't know what we're talking about.
I love that the piñata happened and that Jenny like really coordinated and everybody.
And she put like legit candy in there.
Yeah, everybody took a swing. She was like really, working it. I loved it.
Most of the kids all got a couple swings, and I can't remember who did the first initial like, ooh, wow, that's starting to loosen it up. But I said to my son Ethan when it got knocked down, the candy started to come up, like, get me the long Tootsie Rolls. Like,
yeah, it was some good candy.
And, so I will say, speaking of candy, food, I mean, that was one of those things where John sort of mentioned it previously, like the scarcity. This is one of the first times ever. It's like, we miscalculated. It was like almost no leftovers.
Whoa. Well, whoops.
It's full adults, and
I think there was corn left over.
Mark's freaking corn was left. That is true.
And cake, always cake.
Yes. So the next day, I woke up, and I will say, my body, I realized it only maybe sat down twice in that whole time, like once to eat.
Plus the whole prep of cleaning the backyard.
Oh, my Lord. And in my day pajamas. I was so physically sore.
Yikes,
like Tylenol, like to bed, put on some Salon Pause patches. I was like kind of crippled walking around the next day. So, we didn't do much the next day. It was like we did not leave our house. But Katherine, you did an awesome job on those interviews.
Yeah, I mean, it was really fun to do. And I definitely think Ed and I have figured out how we would do it next time, that it would work a little bit better. Because I had to move the mic back and forth, which I was not figuring out how to keep it equidistant between the two. Anyway, it'll be better next time. But I love doing it, and I think we should do more of that. Like whenever we get together. Yeah, it was
awesome.
Great. I loved it.
And it was so surprising to me because I was obviously distracted doing other things.
Even the ones you were in were a surprise to hear back. You're like, what? Did that happen?
And I have to give a big shout out to my husband, Mark, and my son, Ethan, but especially Mark, and you too, John, but especially Mark, for being so awesome, for being the co-host, opening up our house. And even though siblings and, Eric was awesome and generous and did a nice donation for the party expenses, my husband is so nice to open the house to the chaos and the craziness, all with K's, but just that he's willing to do it and he pitches in and makes it all happen is pretty amazing. And he loves it. He loves it.
It takes a good personality to be able to just like host and have that kind of craziness. I mean, that's the funny thing about all these interviews. You can hear all of the craziness that is happening. I mean, it was...
But we're
fun,
a good crowd though. Like if you're gonna throw a party and you know that you're gonna get the same 25 guests, actually they're good. They got some dancers, some singers, some comedians, some serious people. Get over here.
One of my favorite moments was because Ethan always goes, Mom, it always takes you half an hour to say goodbye to everybody. But Virginia can be very quick with her goodbyes. So it's like she's ready to go. So she left. Bye. Okay, fine. It was like a half an hour later. Brian standing, her husband in the kitchen. He's like, well, I guess my family left, so
she didn't tell him.
They took separate cars, or she may have told him, but he didn't realize
that it was that quick of an extraction.
Yeah, so he's like, so goodbye. It was just.
He also could have been talking tech with Eric about something. He can get in a little cloud,
maybe
for sure. But that was just a very funny moment that Virginia and the girls had left, and Brian was like, oh. I
guess they're gone.
I don't have to be here now. I love you all. Bye.
Exactly.
See ya. I'm out.
All right. Well, that was the August birthday party recap.
Yeah. And then there was a Sunday dinner. We're not getting into that now. Okay.
Nope.
All right. Thank you for listening to Family Dynamics. And please follow us on all of our social media at Family Dynamics with a K. And we also have a Patreon. We'll do something fun on Patreon. I'm not sure what, but we'll get to that. And thank you for listening to Family Dynamics.